audio engineering professionals. I have some information I'd like to share and something I'd like to address, and that would be ear care. The first thing I'd like to say about ear care is I do recommend every 6 months or every year that you do see a doctor if at all possible. To have your ears checked and have them cleaned and things like that, and to ask them about ear care. The other thing that I like to address on that issue is a lot of times they won't recommend you do anything and that you just come see them. But if you dig around on the internet, you will find maybe just a few different ways to care for your ears. Well, more than a few from what I've seen. If you dig around on the internet and go to different sites, you will find all kinds of different ways. Different earplugs and different types of ear care, wax removal, everything from sticking, wax in your ears to get the wax out, paraffin candles. I mean, there are to sticking sage in your ear to try to suck the moisture out of your ear. There are lots of different techniques. So if you have a specific problem, I do suggest you see a doctor that maybe has had some experience in dealing with ears on a daily basis, if you're not just doing specific cleaning. And the other thing, and dig around and do some research, but research well before you stick anything in your ear because it's very delicate. There is a piece of membrane in your ear, the tympanic membrane, that basically stops anything going in there. And if you poke a hole in that, you could have a serious problem. One of the things that I learned while I was trying to care for my ears is I never really messed with it much at all. As you get older, that some of the higher frequencies and lower frequencies you may not hear as well as younger people. And so having wax build up in your ears or dirt from collecting on the wax can be an issue to you hearing well. What I normally do is once a month I will get like an eyedropper like this. Very simple eyedropper. Try to make sure that the end of it is stubbed so it's not pointy, that it can't hurt the inside of your ear. And I'm not going to say that went to school for teaching people to take care of their ears, so you take my advice or not, but it's not my problem if you stuff this in your ear and poke out your membrane. Be very careful and very delicate with putting anything in your ear, and never put anything sharp in your ear. They don't even recommend you use cotton swabs. But if you think you have enough intelligence to not hurt yourself from stupidity, that normally what I do is I'll take one of these eyedroppers, I will take water, and I will get it fairly warm. Not hot, but fairly warm. And I'll suck up some water with this to where it's fairly full, and then I will insert it into my ear, turn my head sideways, and squish the rubber thing on and off, on and off, on and off, to put pressure on it, let it off, pressure on it, let it off, to try to wash out any of the earwax and any dirt in the ear with warm water. And I'll do that for quite a while with that, maybe even twice, spray that out, get some more warm water, and do it again. And then turn my head the other way, let it drain out really well, maybe use the eyedropper to suck any excess water out. I might do that a couple times and do this for each year. And then I get some hydrogen peroxide. Hydrogen peroxide works really well. It breaks up the earwax. And so what I'll do is the same thing with that, is I'll take the eardropper, I will fill it up with that, and I will spray it in. I will turn my head all the way sideways. I'll put it in and out and squeeze on and off on the rubber thing on the end and just flush it real well. And then I'll let my head sit that way for a couple minutes. And after a minute or two, you'll start to hear, if you've got buildup of wax in there, you'll start to hear bubbling as the hydrogen peroxide breaks up the earwax in your ear. And sometimes if it's really bad, I'll sit there for up to 5 minutes, just my head to the side, way off to the side, and let it break up that earwax. And then I'll do that again with a little more hydrogen peroxide. I'll fill it up again and then flush it, squish off and on this to get a flow back and forth, sucking it in and pushing it out. Gently, not be really super careful with your ear. And then I'll go through the process of using very warm water again. I'll take warm water and I'll do the same thing again with it and flush it out real well, like a couple times. And then I'll turn my head to the side and I'll drain it out really well. And to make sure, and sometimes I'll use this to suck out any extra moisture that's in there, any water that seems like it's getting caught in there from not being able to drain or in a canal there. And then After I get done with that, I'll gently take a cotton swab, and then, and I'll just kind of gently kind of go in there and just kind of rub around and just make sure I've gotten most of the excess wax that's out of there. And I'll do that about once a month, and it works really well. If you have any questions, you can ask me about that. But I've found that that works really well, and I've tried a lot of different ways, and a lot of the doctors, they just want you to come see them, and they'll flush your ear out with warm water or a solution that they have to break up the earwax and wash out your ear. But I've found that that works really well, and I highly recommend it to take care of your ears so that you can hear what's going on, and so that your ears are cleared out. One thing, I only do that once a month, and sometimes I'll put it off for a month. If I really don't think I need it and I'm not noticing it, because you may notice it once you get your ears cleared out really well. But be very careful, and some earwax in your ear is a good thing. It helps protect the inner ear. So don't be overly cleanly with it. That means don't try to do it every day or once a week or every 3 days and stuff like that. It's just once a month, just kind of clear it out. Does that make sense? And so I thought I'd just share that because a lot of people don't address that, and whether or not you do it exactly like that, I at least hope this video gets you thinking about it. And if you've got some different ways that work really well, I sure hope you give me some feedback or send me a video that shows me how you're doing it. Maybe I'll learn something new and something cool. But from my looking around, that works really well. It's very inexpensive, very easy, and the tools are inexpensive. And I rarely have to go see a doctor to have my earwax cleaned out of my ear, but I do recommend going and seeing them now and then to have your ears tested and things like that. And also, the last thing I want to address is that you can get online and find places to test your ears. Do it. Go there and test your ears now and then. See what frequencies you're having issues with, and see how well your range of hearing is in the frequency realm, so that you have a better understanding when you're EQing and things like that of, what frequencies you might be having issues with or not hearing well. And also that as you get older, sometimes that your hearing will get less acute in the lower and upper frequencies. And it's a good idea to know as those frequencies may be diminishing in your ears that you can take steps to understand that. And sometimes I will send mixes and things I'm working on to people that are younger, that their hearing is a little bit better because I'm getting older. And so I can say, how do the upper frequencies sound to you, or the lower frequencies, because they're like 17, 18 years old, or, maybe 20 years old or something. And I know that, if my ears are deteriorating at all, or does that make sense? So I get an opinion from somebody whose ears aren't, starting to lose any hearing at all. And I suggest you look up on that a little bit also. Anyway, peace, hope, love, dude, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and I sure hope to help to take care of your ears. And if you've got any better ways to do it or any advice, please send me a line. Peace, hope, love.